Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, woo, what an intraday move in the market. If you did not see it, we're going to go through it, and I think maybe we found what caused it, so we will talk about that. Again, markets use news as an excuse to grab liquidity. We'll go into that. We'll go into the charts. Certain things got broken today. This is what we were watching out for. Every day we talk about this is what this stock is coming off of. This is what this stock is bouncing off of. This is holding this stock up. And a lot of stuff got broken today. So tomorrow, with the big red folder news coming out, it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, a lot of you guys made comments about my chair. And so laughingly, let me tell you, I go through that every day, okay? Why do I go through that every day? Because I love my wife. Because my wife loves carpets and stuff. I can't stand them. So there is carpet underneath this. So every time I try to drag the back legs forward, it gets hung up. I've adjusted 20 Waving Sunday. She likes it like this, and that's fine. And for those who aren't married, take a lesson. And for those who are married, can back me up in the comments on this. My grandpa taught me many years ago before I was married, a happy wife equals a happy life. Okay, so remember that. Again, back me up in the comments if you agree with that. Okay, so I tolerate that because I love my wife and she loves her carpets, and I can obviously take my frustration out on the chair, right? So anyway, but that is an everyday thing for me. So it's kind of funny when I was reading the comments. Totally forgot to edit that out, by the way. And so I'm glad you guys caught that. Now, what happened today in the market? The market was going good. We were about to set all-time highs, and here comes one of the many Fed presidents. Actually, two of them said something very similar. But Kashkari floats possibility of no rate cuts, and another one says, well, hey, if inflation stays sideways or goes, up, why would we do rate cuts? And all of a sudden, and that both those tweets hit between 145 and 2 right there. And the market said, down we go. And unexpected investors and traders mostly were sitting there going, wow, we're going to all-time highs. Nuh-uh. And as you can see, the very strange thing was, and what makes me think it had to do with inflation, look at the indexes, but then also the dollar's flat and yields also went down at the same time. Normally you see a yield spike to get the market to do that, but they went down, TLT goes up, right? Safe haven. And so that's what makes me believe that's what it was. Again, algo's kicking in. Now, of course, why would we see that? Well, let's see here. S&P 500 index with most record days since 2007. This is the quarter right here. First quarter, look at that. Remember, every day I was coming here going, oh, look. It's an all-time new high on the S&P 500. Hadn't seen this since 2017. But yes, we're way up there when the nosebleed seats at this point in time. It moved up super fast. What was it, 15 or 17 weeks straight green. So this is when you get to see stuff like this right here. Now, please hit that thumbs up before we continue. Helps people find this video. Really appreciate it. And think about hitting the subscribe button if you like a finance channel who doesn't try to talk over your head and seem all smart and stuff. All right. Now, also, before I forget about it, just on a whim, I switched to dark screen because so many people kept asking me about it. So I'm going to try it out today. Let me know in the comments what you think. You will see another one at the end that goes back to the normal screen. And so let me know which one you like better. I can deal with either one. I can just flip back and forth too if I want to. So now, the S&P 500 here, right? What are we doing? We're falling well below the weekly expected move, falling below that support level right there, falling into prior support where we could get it, right? We're sitting in the mitigating these fair value gaps on the way down, which is always good. Got an RTH gap below that. Got support below that. If we continue to fall right there, and the S&P and the NASDAQ are in two different places, as you're fixing to see right here. And when I look at this, I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to continue to fall down, because we were just basically trading in a sideways range right there. But, when you look and pull up the 50 and stuff, it actually falls right there, what was previous support. Right? So, of course, I'm always the guy rooting to go, yeah, let's come down and get a real area where you can really feel a conviction for a bounce, right? 1.35% down from previous support plus the 50 moving average. That is great confluence right there. Again, we haven't touched the 50. I've been saying this one forever, I feel like, since November. And so, yes, a healthy market, you bounce off the 50 moving average. Just pull up 2020 when it was all crazy and everything was going crazy and the 50 was still bouncing, or the S&P was still bouncing off its 50 moving average. And so again, that will be a nice place to bounce if we continue to see weakness, of course. Now, when you come over here, we're going to take the moving averages away and all that good stuff. And again, being that far below the weekly move, again, you usually end up between 68 70% of the time in the weekly move. But again, we'll find out if that's going to be the case here. And I was looking for prior month's low on this to say, well, maybe we'll take out prior month's low because that would be a big deal, but it's nowhere close, right? That's what I'm saying when I say like the NASDAQ 100, for example. You see this one, big red candles. There's its prior month right there, because this one is doing what? It's basically been trading sideways since what, March 25th right here. And so, you know, it's in a different situation, okay, much different situation, as you can see. So this one could take out prior month's lows, which would be a big one right there. Got a big RTH gap right below that. And so, you know, that's what we got to figure out, which one's going to lead the way, because, you know, FANG has been, or the big MAG 7 has been all over the place. We're going to touch on a couple of those because they broke major supports today, which is why you could see it. Could be in the key example. We have been here many times before, right? Now, IWM small caps. This one actually held up better than the NASDAQ, that's for sure. But what do we see it do? 1, 2, 3 times now we come down this area, which was a fair value gap, actually an inverse fair value gap right there, as you can see. And we at least held, bounced twice, held today, all right? Got that trend line right beneath that, okay? Also at the 50 right below that. So there is confluence for support right here to see if this is going to bounce. I was surprised it actually held up, you know, actually better than the NASDAQ 100, but it did, right? And there's a reason for that, and I'll show it to you and stuff. But when you go to hourly, it's a little different, right? You look on the hourly, shorter term time frame, and what you're looking for here is to say, okay, you have a high over here, then you have obviously a low, and then you have a lower high, as you can see, and then we're looking for the lower low, okay? So that's really what we're looking for on this. So make sure you pay close attention to that. Let me mark it out real quick for you so you can see it. And also, before I forget, the NASDAQ actually dropped just below the 50 moving average today. I mean, just below it, okay? Why is this? Of course, NVIDIA, right? Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA breaks below the weekly expected move, but it gets saved by what? These little shaded areas we consider support resistance right here, right? Still got saved, still above the 50 moving average. But there was something that broke today, which it, you know, hasn't really broken in a while, and it's been saving it. And what was that? We're talking about the 21 EMA. Okay, we bring it up. You can see now it closed below the 21 EMA. This is where it has bounced the last couple times, actually. All right, and so that has been broken. All right, that's what we were looking for, to see if that was going to continue up. Again, it's not the end of the world if that's the case. We're talking about NVIDIA here. It's still in that support area, so you can get a bounce from here to continue to move up. But again, it's still in that range. As of now, it's still in that range. If we do start to break down, you can see probably next support is like 825-ish, somewhere in that area down there. This is just a daily chart. AMD, big breakdown today. It was down massively today. You can see well below the weekly expected move, and it broke what? That year-to-date anchor VWAP. We went back 3 years showing each year-to-date anchor VWAP and how much it respected that, right? Well, it broke well below it today. And so, again, what did it fall to, though? When you look, it fell into a previous area of support, just like NVIDIA did. And so when we look at this one, you know, we can pull up moving averages and things like that. We're below the 50. 100's right below that, okay? And again, let me change the color of the 200 now that I'm on this dark mode, which I gotta get used to, if you guys choose that. And when we come over here, you can see the 200's way down there. But, you know, looking at this, when we pull back over, you can see that previous area of support, which is really what matters, right? Right there. And we count how many times we had this previous area of support. It is quite a few. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It's bounced from there. And so if we can hold that right there, which is the whole point, when it consolidates sideways like it did right there, it is creating support. So that would it be a good area for a bounce? Yes. What we talked about though, April, again, is a rough day for semiconductors. Even MU, for crying out loud, would actually get red today. So we'll see. I mean, it was a big drop today. Now, looking over at Tesla, this one held up. This one was up 5% on the day. I mean, let me know in the comments if you were stunned by that. 5%. I thought I was going to close that gap the way it was going to stop, but it just kept going, and then 145-ish hit, but it still held up. It ended up green by a couple percent today. It's up 8% over the last like couple of days, or was. Now it's only at 5%. But you know, when you look at this one, that double bottom down there on that trend line was at the bottom. We're going to have to see. Right now, until proven guilty, you're just in this range between 164, 183-ish, right in there. All right, so we've seen this movie many times over the last few weeks here. And again, you got earnings coming up. And if it's a bounce, it's totally a technical bounce, right? I mean, that's what you don't know how much the market's pricing in, all this stuff. And I've showed you the thing. Usually the first quarter is just rough. And then going into April, May, that's when it's normally tends to bottom on the chart, at least after earnings, and then starts to go up. But again, this one was moving. Let me know if you were surprised, because I was definitely surprised to see that. And maybe those equal lows. Maybe that is the low. We'll have to find out on Tesla. Let me know if you're in this one or dollar cost averaging or whatever. I know a lot of people are still looking into this one. Now, going back to white screen, because I recorded this earlier, watch out for Disney here, because Disney, I know a lot of people were looking at 117. I guess some news came out about they defeated some person that was trying to get on the board and all this stuff, and of course it sold off a little bit. But when you look at it, I mean, that is a nice support area, a nice bounce area right there when you look at it. So a lot of people said, maybe they're going to get into it. We'll find out on that one. Again, this EMA is still holding right here, so keep that one in mind. MACD looks like it might be trying to roll over right there, maybe lose a little momentum. Of course, I mean, look at that move. It's huge, right? I mean, you go to the hourly, look to see if this forms a lower low. There's your high, which actually is a double top, or equal highs, whatever you want to call them. And then, of course, you end up see if this is going to be a lower high, right? Because over here you got your low, then there's a double top, equal high, lower low. Is this going to be a lower high? That's what you want to watch out for and see. Now, a lot of red folder news coming out in the morning pre-market at 8:30. You'll have non-farm payrolls coming out. You're going to have your unemployment rate coming out. Put in the bottom what you think. They're expecting no move on this at all. You will have more Fed presidents speaking like crazy. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them out tomorrow. And so watch out for that. Some are pre-market, some are after the market opens up. So expect what? What we talked about yesterday at the end of the video. More volatility. Okay, so just expect that, because last week, I think it was, we didn't have hardly any red folder news really. And the market was kind of like, right? This week we've had red folder news, right? And that's the stuff the MMs and the algos really trigger on. And plus you had, what has it been? 4 or 5 Fed speakers a day, right? Is that about right? Seems like that. And I'm telling you, those algos trigger off this stuff, right? And when they trigger, all of a sudden you see that little drop right there. How many stop loss you think got hit on that drop? Because that's what you call a falling knife. Anybody wants to know the definition of falling knife? That is a falling knife. All right, people kept trying to jump in there, and it's like, nope, just don't even touch it and let it go, right? And so many people had their stop losses triggered today, and many people went from green to red on whatever they were trying to do today. The other thing, though, is you look at this, is some people looked at it and said, wow, this is great. This is what you've been wanting, right? Get a pullback on certain stocks, the ones you love, especially the blue chip, and you go, maybe it hits some of your levels. You never know. That's all I always say. Have cash on the sidelines, have your levels marked out to where you want to go into at. That's what you got to do. So let me know if you were doing any buying today or not. Or you just waiting to see how this pans out? Is this going to be more of a pullback? That's really a key question, right? So anyway, hope you got something out of it. Hit that like and subscribe button. Again, let me know what you think about the dark or light. I can go either way. It's about you guys and what makes you happy, okay? So see you guys on, actually tomorrow's Friday, and I'll see you on Saturday. So put your question in the comments if you have any for Saturday's video. For those who are new, I answer questions on Saturday from the viewers and stuff. And then on Sunday, we do the video to set up the week. So that's where we're at now. So have a good one, guys.